Today we're talking about hiking in the wintertime. You'll want to stick around. Welcome back to Outdoor Skills Made Easy. Today we're out hiking in the wintertime and we wanted to share a few tips with you about things that we do to make it more comfortable. Wintertime is not a time to stay in the house. It's a time to get out and explore. Let's go. When we're talking about staying warm, hiking in the wintertime, let's start with our core. We want to have at least 3 layers. So I enjoy first having a base layer, a light shirt. This is my long sleeve, lightweight shirt, followed by my heavier shirt that you've seen me wear a lot, the OSMEtv shirt, and then a vest that's insulated. And if I really need something that's really going to keep me warm because it's super cold, I can add a lightweight jacket on top of that. Much better than having just one big bulky coat that you're trying to zip and unzip and try and regulate your heat. So let's work in layers that we can take off and put back on so that we can stay at the normal temperature. Let's work our way down here to the socks. When you're choosing socks, make sure that you've got socks that have a high percentage of wool in them. And they make some really nice socks. Here's some that I enjoy. Mossy Oak. These are some socks that are a little bit heavier I use in my boots. These are some Carhartt boot socks. And then these socks actually are socks that I use when I'm fly fishing in the wintertime, wearing my waders in sub-zero temperature on a river, and they've kept me nice and warm. Here I've got a couple of hats that I can layer up if I really need to. And remember, there are a couple places on our body that really can lose heat. So our heads we want to pay attention to, necks, wrists, and ankles. And these are places where we can lose heat. We just want to make sure they're well insulated. When it comes to gloves, dry and warm is better than cold and wet. These gloves have some electrical wires that heat the hands, but they are lightweight. So you can adjust the temperature setting just by pushing the button. These are great if it's not wet or windy. These are heavier gloves that have a zipper, and you can take a hand warmer and just slide it in here. Open the hand warmer up, activate it, slide it in here, and close the zipper. And here are some wrist warmers that you can just take one of the hand warmers, activate it, slide it inside, and then put that on your wrist, Velcro it on, and that's an area that we tend to lose a lot of heat through. So this is a great little thing to have if it's very cold. Some different options keeping our hands and wrists nice and warm. We've talked a lot about keeping the outside of our body nice and warm and layered, but we need to make sure that we pay attention to the inside. When I'm hiking, I need to keep my energy up. You've got to fuel your energy. So I always like to keep some Lara bars, some nut bars, some trail mix, something that I'm constantly eating. And then with this great Geiger Rig pack, it's a hydration pack, as you know. We need to remember to continue to drink water. We can lose a lot of water while we're hiking, especially in the wintertime, and we don't recognize it. And I love this Geiger Rig pack because the water bladder inside is up against my back, and so that will shield it from getting too cold and maybe freezing. And so I'll always have fresh, cool water on my hike. If I'm hiking on a trail that's been well used and is packed down, I like to wear these boots. They're Salomon, they're very waterproof, and I also like to have these pants. You can see they've got a flannel lining. My socks are wool socks, and so very comfortable setup. And I've chosen my Salomon boots because they're waterproof. We'll probably be hiking trails that are well used, and so we won't be concerned about snow coming up and getting into our boots for walking on very packed trails. If the trails you're hiking are icy, you may want to consider something like this that are just micro spikes. And these will just fit over the bottom of your shoes, strap onto the top, and it makes it very safe and comfortable while you're hiking. If you're hiking in fresh powder like we are today, you'll want to have some nice boots that are waterproof. I love these sorrels because they're easy to tie up. They have a string here at the top that you can see cinches up around to make sure that no water might get down inside. Quickly tie that around. And then the snow pants that I have will add the insulating layer that is waterproof. It's got a nice rubber band that holds that tight and folds down to keep the water out. So here's a pro tip. If you get just one of the rice bags that you see commonly used around and you put that in the microwave before you go hiking, then go ahead and set it in your boot. When you get to the trailhead, your boots will be nice and warm. You can put them on and start the hike with warm boots. If you enjoy hiking but haven't spent time out in the winter, you want to consider a couple of things. First of all, think about how much distance you generally cover when you're hiking without snow. If you go off for 5 miles, you may want to start out with maybe 3 miles. And then think about the time. The goal may not be to get to the peak, but you want to make sure that you get back in time so it's not dark when you're getting back to the trailhead. Once you've decided on your distance and time, you may want to consider what type of trail that you want to use. You can find a trail that's very popular where it's been packed down and it's easy to walk on. But if you decide to break your own trail, you may want to take 2 or 3 people and then rotate off. One person being the lead dog, breaking the trail, and then switch off so that one person doesn't have that job all day long. And you can use snowshoes. In one of our other videos, we talked about what to put in your hiking day pack. All of those items apply when you're winter hiking, but also you want to remember to put sunscreen. There's so much light, so much brightness, and the reflection can really burn you easily. So don't forget the sunscreen. We've really enjoyed our time snowshoeing today. Just a couple of extra points that we want to make sure that you're aware of. You can see that we've got a lot of heavy snow on trees. Behind me is a north-facing slope, which tends to not get a lot of sun in the wintertime, and so it's more prone to avalanches. So with the new heavy snow on top of that, we want to avoid the north-facing slopes and let that settle for a week or 2 before we venture out into the backcountry. We hope that you stay safe and warm as you're snowshoeing or hiking in the wintertime. And we hope that you'll join us again at OSME TV.